Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's first video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's first video, day 10 will take us to the 22nd of June, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles, maybe to around a couple of weeks. And we'll have a look at CFSB2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, which will get us well into July. I'll get on that for you in a moment. Just say that the second video coming up around 7 PM will be the second Glastonbury update, looking in detail at the possible weather for the Glastonbury Festival. So if you're interested in that, that'll be coming up at around 7 PM. Please like, share, subscribe on the videos. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Thanks for all of the lovely messages like you've been saying about the death by Mum, Mrs. P, on the 27th of May. It means so much. It means such a lot to me and the family to read all of your incredible messages that you've been sending, not just on YouTube, across social media, emailing as well. So thank you so much. If you'd like to give a donation in memory of Mrs. P to the British Heart Foundation, you can find the link in the description with this video. And thank you so much once again to all of you. Right, so let's begin the video then. We're going to start off with the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. So looking at London today, the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for London. We're starting off around to a little bit below average at the moment. We have got a heat spike potentially coming up at the end of the week. So a little bit of uncertainty about how hot it's going to get. But definitely the GFS ensembles are lifting the upper air temperatures up to a pretty hot level sometime around the end of the coming week. Only briefly, it is only quite a brief heat spike, and then by the time you get through to the following week, we've actually dropped down to being average to a little bit below again, and then we hover close to the long-term 30-year average right way through towards month's end. Precipitation-wise, going to be lots of dry weather coming up over the next few days as well, so high pressure will be bringing this hotter weather, so going to be lots of dry weather in the coming days in the south and east in particular. As it breaks down, as that heat spike breaks, there could well be thunder involved in that, so there is precipitation then sometime around next weekend in particular. Might see some thunderstorms. Then after that, through the last week of June, looks rather unsettled with further precipitation spikes coming through then. Temperature anomalies from the 12th to 20th of June going to be a little bit below average for Scotland and Northern Ireland, so not much of a heat spike doing up there. For England and Wales, going to be a little bit hotter than average, a little bit warmer than average. And precipitation anomalies from the 12th to 20th of June, largely driving average in most areas. The latest wind flow map from earthnullschool.net shows that bringing in wind from off the Atlantic again today, so nice fresh sort of feel once again, as we've had over the past few days. Quite windy in the north and west in particular. Right, so let's start going through the all-important chart data then and see how things are looking with this heat spike. This is how the UK Met is looking for midnight on Wednesday, with high pressure then ridging through the country. Through the second half of the week, that ridge continues through the country, and hot air begins to get drawn up from the south as well. So this is Friday, midnight on Friday, looking pretty flabby then and quite hot. If you look at the upper air temperatures, you'll see that we are restricting plus 20 Celsius ice mode to France with the UK Met, so we're not lifting the hottest of the air into the country midnight on Friday. And by the time you get through to midnight, so what's happening there? So is that right? So what are we looking at here? We're looking at Saturday. Right, okay, so I don't know what's happened there. Hang on. So it looks like we've only got... No, this is a bit of a mess. Okay, right, so this is Sunday's chart from UK Met Euro. This is today's chart for midnight on Friday. So that's all looking okay, with a ridge of high pressure through the country. Plus 20 Celsius is into northern France. Now the next chart, for some reason, that's 120 hours, at 144 hours. The next chart is Saturday's chart, so we'll ignore that. And we'll move on to this one, 168 hours, which is, again, today's run. By then, cooler air is being drawn in from the north. So So the UK Met is going for hotter weather at the end of the week still. Whether we get plus 20 Celsius ice into the far southeast corner, that's a moot point. But the UK Met is going for hotter weather at the end of the week. But by next weekend, by midnight on Sunday, much cooler air sweeping southwards and pushing away that heat into Germany. Right, sorry about that, everyone. It's a little bit mixed up, that. Right, let's go on to Icon then. And here we go then. We've got a ridge of high pressure through the country at midnight on Wednesday. That ridge continues into midnight on Thursday. Midnight on Friday. Yes, hot air is starting to drift up from the south, but again, Icon not convincing about this hot weather. It's the upper air temperature midnight on Friday, plus 15 Celsius ice, barely making it into the far southeastern corner. By the time you go through the midnight on Saturday, so as you've gone through Friday, I don't think any particularly hot weather has landed into the country, and cooler air is coming back in off the Atlantic, actually. So the upper air temperatures are lowering through sort of Friday afternoon, evening, and the hottest air is very much restricting to France. That plus 20 Celsius ice gets nowhere near us, actually, with Icon. It's restricted to like the middle of France. So Icon's still standing alone, really, with this hot weather, or not going for this hot weather at the end of the week. By the time we get through to midnight on Sunday, we've actually got a trough of low pressure sitting across the east of Scotland, and we're bringing a showery and quite cool north or northwest wind, and that carries on through Sunday itself, looking quite cool actually next weekend with those upper air temperatures, and there would be showers with that as well. So nothing particularly hot doing with Icon. It does warm up a little bit around Thursday and Friday, but definitely restricting the hottest of the air to France there. Now, the GFS, let's have a look at this one then. Once again, we've got a ratio potential on Wednesday, should conclude with dry and warm weather. That carries on into the end of the week. Much more of a southerly influence you'll notice with the GFS, for example, by midnight on Friday. Much more of a southerly type influence with high pressure from the east, low pressure out to west compared to Icon. And so the plus 20 Celsius ice is getting much closer to us with the GFS compared to Icon. That's midday on Friday. Looks like it could be a little bit thundery, but we are drawing up some proper heat into the southeast. Yes, plus 20 Celsius iceberg is into that southeastern corner. So this is still uncertain, everyone. This end of the week period, how hot is it going to get? What's going to happen with this heat spike? With established already, you know, with between Icon and the UK Met and also GFS, we've established that there is still uncertainty about this. It is still to be revealed just how much of this heat we're going to pull in at the end of the week. That is midnight on Saturday with the GFS midnight run. Again, still even there looking very warm, hot in the southeastern corner. That cooler air taking a much longer to push through the country compared to Icon, for example. Eventually, the cooler air does push through during Saturday. So by midnight on Sunday, yes, we are bringing in cooler air bent across the whole country, and maybe thunder involved in that breakdown as well. We would know that a little bit closer to the time frame. After that, as we go be up towards day 10, we're going to go into like a west-northwesterly type flow that brings showers into northern western areas, making dry weather though down in the south and southwest. Will be quite fresh with the air coming in from off the Atlantic. High pressure central re-establishing close to the country as we go to the end of the GFS midnight run. So a lot of dry and warm weather, albeit not overly hot as we're on the cooler side of the high pressure, but a lot of dry and warm weather with the GFS midnight run through the last week of June with that. Pretty good. But that's so. This is the GFS 6 days. Looking very latest. Again, we've got this ridge of high pressure through the country through the middle part of the week. Then the high pressure will switch towards Germany as we get through the Friday with low pressure out to west. That draws up that hot southerly flow. Up comes a plus 20 Celsius ice flow. And actually maintaining that for a longer period of time with GFS 6 day midnight run. So plus 20 Celsius iceberg covering a large portion of southern southeastern England by the end of Friday. That looks really hot. That'll get temperature well into the 30s Celsius across especially southern, central and southeastern England. Looks volatile as well. There is like a fungy low that's being generated by that heat and humidity through France and into southern parts of England. This is 6 a.m. Saturday, still with that plus 20 Celsius iceberg in the southeast corner. The Icon model, for example, is sweeping that away by this point. So Very uncertain how hot it's going to get at the end of the week. Eventually, this cooler air from the north and northwest does push through during the course of Saturday, so the heat drains away into the continent as cooler showery conditions move in from the north and from the northwest. And then we head on into the end of next week, and we've got we head on to day 10, I should say, got a ridge of high pressure then from the Atlantic up into northern parts of Europe. That should bring a lot of dry and quite warm weather with it as well. Maybe a little bit more unsettled by the very end of the GFS run on the 28th of June. Right, GEM, I hope you're able to follow this. It's a very complicated scenario, this heat spike. And if you enjoy the video, then please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. Right, the GEM, again, has this ridge of high pressure through the country on Wednesday. Should be mainly dry with that at the end of the week. Hotter air being drawn up from the south. But probably not for all that long. This is midday on Friday. Already beginning to push a trough of low pressure through from the Atlantic. We do get plus 20 Celsius isolate into the extreme southeastern corner with the GEM. But I think generally the GEM is pushing that heat away quicker than the GFS model output, for example. So this is midnight on Saturday. You'll see that cooler air then is pushing right way through the country at that point. So one probably hot day on Friday with GM, and then it gets pushed away. By the time we get through to Sunday, we're all in this cooler, showery, northwesterly type flow. Upper air temperature looking a lot lower. And up to day 10, high pressure gains out to west, winds coming in from a northwesterly direction with that. And then we've got the ECM WF, which has again this area of high pressure sitting over top of the country through the middle part of the week. That carries on into the end of the week, drawing up this heat from the south, plus 20 Celsius iceberg arriving on the south coast with the ECM by midnight on Friday. That is midnight on Saturday, 24 hours on. Then we're pushing in cooler air from off the Atlantic, but still have pretty hot conditions to this far southeastern corner anyway. So it's still pretty hot there. Midnight on Saturday, midnight on Sunday. The heat, the battle between the cooler air coming in from the Atlantic and the heat that's to our south and east actually generates this thundery low, which is a little bit different to the other model output. So much more of a thundery scenario for next weekend with the ECM. Cooler as well, but much more of a thundery type scenario. This area of low pressure getting triggered by the temperature contrast from the heat and humidity to the south and east, and the cooler air from off the Atlantic. Eventually, the low pressure moves in at day 10. And, that looks more unsettled than all of the other model output as well at day 10. So a rather different ECM run. It all hinges on how much heat they're going to pull in from the continent at the end of the week and how long that heat is going to last. Will it just be a few hours? Will it be a day or two? A lot of uncertainty. Or will it arrive at all, as Icon doesn't pull any appreciable levels of heat in from France still. Right, so this is my precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from Meteo.com. Lots of dry weather to come over the next few days. So we'll be wet weather out to far north and northwest, but not much across southern, central, and southeastern areas. And then when we get to the end of the week, that's when we've got the heat, of course, and that's generating this precipitation. This is going to be thundery stuff, I would have thought. So thunderstorms, heavy thundery rain and storms breaking out at the end of the week. Looks like a very, very wet scenario, actually. Hot and thundery and volatile there by the time we get through to next weekend. Again, it is rather different to most of the other model output. I don't think the other model output is quite as wet as this. More storms potentially there around the 20th of June, pushing up from the south, and then further shower rain in off the Atlantic by day 10. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles day 4, day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office, getting us to the 22nd of June. 13 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the west, to the southwest. That's going to be bringing in a cooler westerly flow, but a lot of dry weather in the south anyway. 11 with a trough of low pressure to the east, combined with a mid-Atlantic ridge. That's pulling in winds from a cool northerly direction. Another 11 with low pressure rain to the northwest. That's bringing in the winds from off the Atlantic, so that's going to be unsettled and quite cool. That includes the control of the operational run. 10 with low pressure to our north-northeast. Again, that's bringing in unsettled and quite cool northwest winds. And 6 with low pressure to our north-east, high pressure to our west. Winds coming in from westerly direction. Most of the options look cool and rather unsettled or showery at the very least at day 10. In 2 weeks' time, These are the options that we've got. We'll go to the 27th of June, 19 miles of ECM, ensembles with low pressure over top of the country. That's going to be cool and unsettled. 14 with low pressure, again, over the country, maybe slightly to our west. 10 with a ridge in from off the Atlantic into western parts of Europe. That should be a little bit drier with that one. And 8 again with high pressure ridging in from the Atlantic and building up towards northern parts of Europe. That's perhaps the driest and warmest option, and is in line, I suppose, with what the GFS 6Z was showing in the extended range. So by the end of June, we might be back under higher pressure. Just have a very quick look at SFSV2. These are 500 millibar high tolerance bring down to week periods. The first week period will take us from the 11th to 17th of June. The coming week has high pressure to the south, low pressure way to the northwest, and so we pull up those hotter winds from that southerly direction. Week 2 is going to be the 18th, 24th of June. High pressure wind locates out to the west. Tough low pressure over Scandinavia. That brings in like this cooler northwesterly type flow. Mainly dry, but would be quite a bit cooler with that. Week 3 will be the 25th of June to 1st of July. Low pressure just to our north-northeast. High pressure out to the west. Winds coming in from a west-northwesterly direction, probably quite cool and unsettled. And then week 4 will be the 2nd to the 8th of July. High pressure to our west and southwest, probably a trough through here. So maybe a little bit on the cool and unsettled side first week of July. But of course, we'll have to see about that. Okay, we're done then. It's all about the heat spike at the moment. Not worth looking beyond that, really. So we got to see, will it get hot? Icon is still, standing alone and not pulling in any appreciable levels of heat. So still a question about whether it will get hot. If it does get hot, how hot will it get and how long will it last? There's a lot of difference between those models. GFS will keep it hot for maybe like 24 hours or so, maybe 36 hours. Other models get the heat in on Friday and then get it out by Saturday morning. So just gotta wait and see. It'll all work itself out over the next day or two, and of course we will keep you updated. If you enjoyed the video, then please can you like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, so we'll be back later on with a second update for Glastonbury. I shall see you at 7 PM for that, but for this one, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.